Main thing was that both India and the USA were very much concerned about the growing nuclear capabilities of China.
For decades, the Himalayas have been shrouded in mystery, from the CIA's plutonium mission in collaboration with India to the installation of a nuclear spying device in the mountains. Now, from deep within the heart of these towering peaks, top-secret documents have surfaced, revealing a hidden power source unlike anything we've ever known. Let's dive in to find out what these documents really say. 1. The Nanda Devi plutonium mission.
I was the leader on the spot, so nobody could guide me. I had to take my own decision. And I told them that don't bring the equipment back, because to carry further will be difficult.
Back in the good old days of 1965, during the thick of the Cold War, the CIA paired up with India's intelligence bureau for a secretive and, let's just say, extremely ambitious operation. The goal? To keep a close watch on China's nuclear tests in Xinjiang by planting a surveillance device on Nanda Devi, one of India's towering peaks. This wasn't just any spy gear, though. It was a cutting-edge, nuclear-powered listening post. A crack team of US and Indian climbers, elite in their field, lugged an 8 to 10-foot antenna up the daunting heights of Nanda Devi. This wasn't your typical camping gear. It was powered by a plutonium-fueled radioisotope thermoelectric generator, RTG, set to perch at an altitude of 25,645 feet. That's a whopping 7,817 meters. The setup included 7 fuel capsules packed with enough power to keep the station operational for years. But as fate would have it, Mother Nature had other plans. Just as our intrepid climbers were making their ascent, they were blindsided by a fierce blizzard. With no choice but to head back down, they secured the device as best as they could and retreated, leaving the high-tech equipment to fend for itself against the elements. The following year, a brave group returned to retrieve the lost tech. But alas, it had vanished, likely buried under layers of snow or swept away in a landslide. Despite multiple expeditions armed with neutron detectors to locate the missing plutonium, the mountain kept its secret, sparking concerns about potential radioactive contamination in such a pristine environment. Local communities, observing changes in their landscape and weather patterns, wondered if the missing radioactive materials were to blame. This cloak and dagger operation remained under wraps for decades, with the climbers sworn to secrecy. Tragically, some, like climber Jim McCarthy, who directly handled the radioactive materials, suffered severe health consequences later in life, including cancer, which he believed was linked to radiation exposure from the mission. In a twist of irony, the CIA eventually gave up on the elusive Nanda Devi and shifted their high-altitude espionage to a nearby peak, Nanda Cot, where they successfully installed another device. Yet the original RTG lost on Nanda Devi remains one of those unsolved mysteries that continue to haunt the annals of Cold War espionage. Now, if you thought that was a gripping tale, wait till you hear what happened when another covert operation went sideways on the other side of the world. Like and subscribe right now and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week. 2. The 1967 Nanda Cot Mission. The 1967 Nanda Cot Mission was a daring sequel to the earlier 1965 attempt, which aimed to keep an eye on Chinese nuclear activities right from the heart of the Himalayas. This time, the stakes were just as high, and the setting just as frosty. The plot thickens in 1967 when the CIA, alongside India's intelligence bureau, decides to shift their gadget-filled gaze from Nanda Devi to Nanda Cot, a towering peak at a breath-stealing 22,510 feet, 6,861 meters. The mission? Plant a nuclear-powered surveillance device to snoop on China's nuclear tests. The gear included something straight out of a sci-fi novel: a SNAP, Systems for Nuclear Auxiliary Power, device coupled with a slick signal system perched near the summit to capture and send data all the way back to the US. Leading this cloak and dagger operation was an Indo-American team, blending intelligence agents with experienced climbers. These brave souls slowly made their way up the icy slopes, hauling heavy plutonium fuel rods, a workout unlike any other. And here comes the twist. Though the team nailed the installation, the device enjoyed a rather brief stint of espionage. Just a few months in, a heavy blanket of snow buried it, knocking it offline. Yet, during its short operational life, it relayed a blockbuster revelation. China hadn't yet stepped into the arena of long-range nuclear missiles. A nugget of intel like that, amid the chills of the Cold War, was pure gold. But every spy story has its shadowy corners. The mission's mysterious powerhouse, those plutonium capsules, were designed to last over 500 years. Even after the device went silent, these radioactive players stayed under the snow. Environmentalists today wring their hands about potential contamination, especially concerning the Ganges River. Imagine those radioactive remnants taking a downhill journey into water sources. The Nanda Cot Mission, draped in secrecy, only waltzed into the public eye years later. While it ticked the box on its immediate objectives, it left behind a radioactive legacy that still stirs the pot of environmental and safety debates. If you think that's intriguing, check out this other expedition. 3. 2016 Commemorative Expedition. Trekking through the Himalayas might sound like your average high-altitude adventure, but throw in a bit of mystery and some legendary power sources, and you've got a story worth telling. Back in 2016, a unique trekking event not only showcased some breathtaking views, but also teased the possibility of ancient, untapped energies hidden within these majestic mountains. This wasn't just any hike. From October 22 to 27, 2016, the Tibet Autonomous Region Sports Bureau and the Shakti city government sponsored the Commemorative Expedition. This trek took 52 participants from Tingri County all the way to Girong Port. What made this route stand out? Well, it wasn't just the stunning glaciers, high-altitude lakes, or the imposing presence of Mount Zisabangma. Nope, this trek was buzzing with the rumor of mysterious energy sources believed to be hidden somewhere along its path. Now you might be wondering, what's all this talk about mysterious power sources? Some folks think that certain spots in the Himalayas, especially near glaciers and mountain passes, might just be sitting on geothermal or magnetic anomalies. We're talking natural power sources that could one day be harnessed. Both scientists and spiritual seekers are drawn to these theories like moths to a flame, thinking maybe, just maybe, these ancient lands hold secrets of energy that could revolutionize how we think about power. As the trekkers made their way through moorlands, forests, and streams, they didn't just soak in the natural beauty. They were also dipping their toes into the possibilities of the region's unexplored resources. It's like each step brought them closer to unlocking the mysteries of old. And when they wrapped up in Shakti, each participant didn't just take home sore muscles and a few breathtaking photos. They were awarded commemorative medals, a nod to their personal connection to the age-old power and mystery of the Himalayas. Now, if you thought that was intriguing, just wait until you hear what happened next. 4. Operation Shakti. Ever been caught off guard by some of the biggest moves in global politics? Let's dial back to May 1998, when India quietly slipped into the League of Nuclear-Armed Nations with Operation Shakti. This wasn't just any routine exercise. It was India's bold announcement of its nuclear capabilities, and boy, did it catch the world's attention. Tucked away in the arid expanses of the Thar Desert, near the picturesque Himalayas, is the Pokhran test range of the Indian Army. It was here that India conducted its second series of nuclear tests, following up on their first from 1974, charmingly named Smiling Buddha. Operation Shakti involved 5 underground nuclear explosions and was nothing short of a cinematic spectacle, minus the popcorn. The brains behind this monumental operation included none other than Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, India's missile man and later president, serving as the scientific advisor to the defense minister and head of the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO. Kalam, along with Dr. R. Chidambaram, chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission, orchestrated these tests with such secrecy that even American satellites were left in the dark. In 1995, those satellites had thrown a wrench in India's plans, but this time the team was steps ahead. On the bright morning of May 11, 1998, the ground shook as 3 nuclear devices were detonated. The star of the show was Shakti 2, a 2-stage thermonuclear device alongside Shakti 2, a fission bomb, and the lesser but still mighty Shakti 3, a sub-kiloton device. Not stopping there, 2 more devices, Shakti 4 and V, followed on May 13. These tests were a loud and clear message. India could now build both fission and thermonuclear weapons. Joining the nuclear club has its perks and its pitfalls. Domestically, it was a moment of immense national pride. Internationally, though, not so much. The world was quick to frown upon India's explosive announcement, leading to sanctions from the US, among others. But hey, every club has its initiation rites, right? Though the dust settled at the test site, the impact lingered in the surrounding villages like Kitolai, where locals reported a spike in health issues, including cancer. The debate continues on whether these were directly linked to the tests or just an unfortunate coincidence. With India making such a dramatic entrance onto the nuclear stage, it's time to explore the next mystery hidden in the Himalayas. 5. The 1938 Shambala Expedition. You might think a trip to Tibet in the late 1930s would be all about snowy peaks and ancient monasteries. This was the 1938-1939 German expedition to Tibet, officially stamped for science, but with a secret agenda powered by SS dreams and Nazi law. Led by zoologist Ernst Schaefer, the crew was handpicked for more than just their scientific prowess. Alongside Schaefer, the team featured anthropologist Bruno Bieger, geophysicist Carl Wienert, taxidermist Edmund Geer, and filmmaker Ernst Krauser. Their mission? To probe the heart of the Himalayas and the Tibetan Plateau under the guise of scholarly research. However, beneath the surface of mapping and cultural studies lurked a mission to trace the origins of the so-called Aryan race right back to Central Asia. The backdrop for their adventure was the mystical Shambala, a hidden kingdom rumored to lie beneath the rugged Himalayan landscapes, believed to hold not just ancient wisdom, but also superhuman powers. It's the stuff of legends, quite literally, and the Nazis were all in, hoping to find some thread of truth in the mystical tales that could support their twisted ideologies on race and power. As the team trekked across the vast, chilly expanses, they did what any good explorers would: collected biological samples, measured skulls, a grim task aimed at proving their racial theories, and scooped up as many Tibetan Buddhist scriptures as they could carry. These were not just souvenirs, but pieces of a puzzle the Nazis were desperate to solve. Every skull measurement, every scribbled note, added to their arsenal of propaganda, fueling dangerous myths back home. Their journey wasn't just a wild goose chase for mythical kingdoms. It also included schmoozing with Tibetan officials. Diplomacy, however, was just another tool in their kit, aiming to stitch new alliances for future geopolitical chess moves. The whole expedition was a chapter from the broader Nazi playbook, blending a thirst for mystic secrets with cold, hard strategy. Returning to Germany, the team brought back more than just data. They carried tales that would stoke the fires of Nazi occultism and racial theories even further. Speaking of theories, the mysterious towers of the Himalayas seem to be tied to much of this intrigue. Let's dive into that next. 6. Secret Towers of the Himalayas. You might not expect ancient architecture to stir up quite a buzz, but the secret towers of the Himalayas are no ordinary rubble. Tucked away in the majestic regions of Tibet and Sichuan, China, these stone structures could easily pass for medieval skyscrapers. Star-shaped and steeped in mystery, they've captured the imaginations of explorers and archaeologists alike, with some dating back to the prime days of the Tang dynasty around 780–1040 AD. Crafted between 500 to 1200 years ago, these towers aren't just architectural feats, they're a puzzle laid in stone. Frédéric d'Aragon, a researcher who's no stranger to adventure, has zoned in on these towers, employing radiocarbon dating that whispers of their ancient origins. But it's not just their age that's turning heads, it's the peculiar designs that suggest these weren't just built for show. Take the 8 or 12-point star shapes, for instance. Not only do they catch the eye, but they might have been ancient engineering hacks. With these regions being hotspots for seismic shakes, a star-shaped design isn't just visually striking, it's structurally savvy, perhaps explaining why they've stood tall through the centuries. But wait, there's more. Some think these points might have been more than just artistic choices. Local lore and scholarly whispers hint at something more mystical. Could it be that these towers were built to harness Earth's natural energy? This area is known for its seismic activity, so tapping into that power might not have been just smart. It might have been survival. And then there's the talk of the DMU cord, a mythical link between heaven and earth, suggesting these towers might have had spiritual GPS coordinates dialed into their foundations. Strategically placed along ancient trade routes, these towers might also have served as medieval watchtowers or beacons for travelers navigating the rough and rugged Silk Roads. While the full story behind these towering enigmas remains tucked away in the folds of history, each discovery peels back a layer, revealing more about the ingenious ways our ancestors interacted with their world. Now, if you think that's something, wait till you hear what's next on the list of Earth's mysterious marvels. 7. Skeleton Lake. Rupkund Lake, tucked away in the Indian Himalayas at a staggering height of 5,029 meters, 16,500 feet, is not your typical serene mountain retreat. It's better known as Skeleton Lake, and for a bone-rattling good reason. The area is littered with hundreds of human skeletons. The mystery of these remains first captured global attention back in 1942, thanks to a rather unexpected find by British forest ranger Hari Kishan Madhwal. Initially, people speculated that the bones could have been remnants of soldiers or hardy traders lost during perilous journeys in World War II. But science has a way of unraveling even the most tangled stories. Radiocarbon dating knocked those theories off their perch by showing that these bones date back to the 9th century. It seems the real culprits here were not enemy forces or treacherous trading routes, but a sudden, brutal hailstorm. The skeletons show injuries that look like they were caused by cricket ball-sized hailstones pelting down with deadly force right on their skulls and shoulders. This chilling scenario matches up eerily well with local legends, which tell of a king and his retinue who made the gods quite irate, prompting the deity Nanda Devi to unleash her icy fury on them during a pilgrimage. Just when you thought the tale couldn't get more twisted, recent DNA analyses have thrown another curveball into the narrative. Some of these ancient bones have Mediterranean origins, dating back to the 19th century. How did these far-flung travelers end up in one of the most remote spots in the Himalayas? That's a head-scratcher that continues to puzzle historians and scientists alike. Rupkund Lake is also a hotspot for trekkers, nestled near the peaks of Trishul and Nanda Gunti. It draws adventurers and pilgrims alike each year, adding layers of footprints to its storied shores. Yet despite the influx of modern visitors, the lake retains its air of mystery, holding tight to secrets that are as frozen in time as its icy waters. 8. The Yeti Mystery of the Himalayas. There's nothing quite like a mystery to keep you on your toes, especially when it's about a creature as elusive as the Yeti, or as some might call it, the abominable snowman. This cryptic critter is rumored to patrol the frosty heights of the Himalayas, covered in shaggy white fur and walking on two legs, practically begging for a Hollywood spotlight. This ape-like enigma bewitches the Himalayan locals and thrill-seeking adventurers alike. Both Nepal and Tibet hold the Yeti deer as a mythical guardian of their sacred mountains, woven deeply into their folklore. Imagine ancient rituals performed in the crisp mountain air, all dedicated to a glacier being from the old Tibetan Burn religion, thought to protect the mountains. Over centuries, these beliefs snowballed into the chilling Yeti legends that give hikers goosebumps to this day. Eric Shipton, a British mountaineer, stirred up global intrigue back in 1951 with a snapshot of what looked like enormous footprints in the snow. This was no ordinary find. These were believed to be the footprints of the secretive Yeti during an Everest expedition. The plot thickened over the years, with various expeditions trying to track the creature, including a notable one by Sir Edmund Hillary in 1960. He even brought back what were thought to be Yeti hairs. However, the twist in the tale came when DNA tests revealed these samples were from local bears, like the Himalayan brown bear or the Tibetan blue bear. But let's fast forward to 2019, when the Indian Army kicked up the snow dust, claiming they'd stumbled upon Yeti footprints near Nepal's Makalu base camp. This revelation had everyone's ears perked up again. But alas, experts chalked it up to the footprints of local wildlife once more. Despite the letdowns and the science leaning towards bearish conclusions, the legend of the Yeti isn't going anywhere. It's a symbol of the wild, mysterious vistas of the Himalayas that continue to capture the imagination of locals, explorers, and scientists. 9. Tibetan energy research by the US. You might think research from the 90s would be all flannel shirts and grunge rock, but when it comes to environmental science, they were already diving deep into serious issues that feel oh so modern. Back then, US scientists were already piecing together a puzzle that would make any climatologist sit up: the impact of black carbon on the Himalayan glaciers. So, what's the big deal with black carbon? Well, it's not just any old soot. This stuff, churned out in huge amounts by coal fires and open biomass burning across South Asia, found its way to the Tibetan Plateau and the Himalayas. And trust me, it wasn't there for a sightseeing tour. It was there to speed up the melting of glaciers, a real problem, because these aren't just any glaciers. These ice giants are the water source for billions of people living downstream. Imagine turning on your faucet and wondering if water will come out. That was the scale of the issue. Researchers were on top of it, though. They used some snazzy advanced climate models to track how this sneaky black carbon traveled across the continent and settled onto the Tibetan plateau. The findings were as clear as daylight. A lot of this pollution was courtesy of the industrial and agricultural activities during the drier non-monsoon seasons. 10. The Himalayan Geothermal Project. Tackling a major project at a whopping 14,000 feet above sea level. That's just another day's work for the folks at the Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, ONGC, with their Himalayan Geothermal Project. Located in the Puga Valley of Ladakh, this area isn't just known for its breathtaking views, but also for being one of the top spots in India for geothermal energy, thanks to its natural hot springs and active geothermal vibes. Initiated in early 2021, the ONGC team started with a bang by drilling exploratory wells. Imagine their surprise when they hit high-pressure steam with temperatures sizzling between 180 and 190 degrees C, and that too just 40 meters below the surface. The first phase of this ambitious project aims to churn out 1 megawatt MW of electricity, but that's just the start. The vision? To amp it up to a whopping 100 MW. This could be a game-changer for Ladakh, significantly cutting down their reliance on those rumbling diesel generators. But geothermal energy is like that reliable friend who's always there, day or night. Have you heard of any other mysterious discoveries like this before? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more intriguing content in the future.